Moving on, the Pashtun movement, or the PTM protesting against Pakistan Army's genocide on Pashtuns, has released a report. In the report, accessed by Newsx, the PTM has listed names of civilians, mostly women and children, killed in mortar shelling and quadcopter drone attacks. As per the PTM report, 26 Pashtun people have been killed in May alone due to targeted shelling by Pakistani army. The Pashtuns, which are about 35 million in population, have been on the streets of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa for years, protesting the Pakistan Army's atrocities. In the past month or so, these attacks have escalated due to non-stop shelling on civilians. Well, it's time India demands freedom for the state of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, or Pakhtunistan as well, currently under Pakistani occupation, and openly supports the PTM. Will the world, who has completely ignored this plight of the Pashtuns, open their eyes to what's happening on the ground? Or will the IMF fund another tranche to Pakistan to help them buy more mortars and drones to fire at Pashtuns and give them money to be given to terrorists like Masood Azhar? We'll talk about this with our guest. Joining us on the platform is Mr. Sumit Peer, senior political commentator. Professor Madhav Nalapat, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, with us on the program as well. Professor Nalapat, I'll begin with you. So we spoke about Balochistan and how the BLA has been fomenting trouble for the Pakistani army, who have been in occupation of these lands. They've been extracting resources, they've been exploiting them, sir, to the hilt. But when it comes to doing anything for the people, or improving or transforming the lives of the people on ground in these particular states, Pakistan has done zero. So there is no accountability, there is no responsibility, sir. There is just exploitation. Do you think that India should also support another movement in Pakistan, which will eventually lead to its breakup?
Well, I would like to say that we should give moral and diplomatic support to the Pashtun Tahaffuz movement, because frankly, the good thing about this movement, it includes a very strong women's wing as well. And several of the leaders over the last several years have been forced to go to exile, mostly in Europe. And these leaders, initially, except for about 3 or 4 years ago, they were very reluctant to name Pakistan. But now they're openly condemning Pakistan because they no longer see a future in a unified Pakistan state. They know that unless they get a separate Pashtunistan with independence and freedom, they are not going to escape the oppression of the Pakistan military, where frankly, Pashtuns are treated as second-class citizens. So I've watched this evolution. Initially, the PTM people were not ready to speak about Pakistan, even in private conversations with me on boards like Signal and all that. But now they're quite open to even write about it, including a very prominent Pashtun lady activist, who had written about it for Sunday Guardian. So I'd like to say that this is a sign, Vinny, that the Pashtuns have had enough. They've had enough of the oppression. And may I point out, the Pakistan army essentially is being used as an instrument for extraction of resources from Pashtunistan, and a lot of that is now going to China. So this kind of exploitation is taking place on a very large scale, and I think as a consequence, the Pashtun movement for freedom, for human rights, for human dignity, for self-respect has really taken off, and I feel India needs to give open moral and diplomatic support for the human rights of every group in Pakistan, be it Pashtunistan, be it Balochistan, be it the Pashtuns, be it the Baloch, be it the Sindhi, whatever group you call it, India should be there in the front row, basically cheering them on as they fight for their human rights. But human rights is a basic right of which all of us should have. And they've been denied that for so many decades. And now at last they're reacting. And India, as a very prominent country, the world's most populous democracy, needs to speak up for human rights for the Pashtuns and other oppressed nationalities in Pakistan, Vineet.
All right, Sumit Peer also with us on the broadcast. Sumit, what do you think India should do at this point in time when it comes to Balochistan? The problem is pretty clear that Pakistan continues to exploit them and target their civilians if they rise up in protest. But what about the Pashtun people? What do they deserve?
Vinny, thank you very much for having me on your show. There are a couple of things which we need to understand. First of all, Pakistan is in a dire state. Pakistan will break up soon. That's not a question, will or will not. It's a matter of date and time. But what has happened in Pakistan? Pakistan army has been carrying all atrocities. They have violated all basic human life and basic human rights, what you can call. They have violated everything. For them, killing, slaughtering people, babies, children does not matter. And on the top of that, as a mullah in Pakistan who becomes a field marshal, though he might wear the golden stars here, but I can see the fright in his eyes because he knows Balochis are catching on, India is catching on, Pashtuns are catching on, Sindhu Desh movement is catching on, Brass is catching on. He doesn't know where to hide and where to live. Now, but the more important thing is we need to look at some of the aspects. These Pakistani army by purpose have been killing civilians. They did in this shelling in Punch, we lost around 15 to 20 people there. Again, they were civilian areas. So it's a very visible pattern. It doesn't matter to them who dies. If a Hindu dies or Muslim dies or anybody dies, as long as a civilian, they will do it. Because that they know that is where the countries like us or the people or the civilizations get hurt when you attack the civilians. Look at this mullah army. Vineet, it is official now. Fauji Foundation on all associated foundations have $36 billion of profit. You might say Pakistan tun gaya, Pakistan khatam, but Mullah Brigade makes $36 billion of profit. I am wondering why are they going to the IMF? Why are they going to the World Bank? Pakistan should ask money from this Asim Munir and the Fauji Foundation, Askariya Bahriya. $36 billion. 10% of GDP approximately is their profit. Not only that, 20,000 acres of prime land in Lahore, Karachi and all is distributed to Mullah generals. And the people who were affected by floods are still in tents. So ab bhi tent mein rehte hain. And what do? At least there are 7,000 registered cases. They don't register cases. At least there are 7,000 registered cases of people missing and abducted in Balochistan. They have killed hundreds and maybe 100,000 people. Even in the Pashtuns, the Pakistan Interior Minister under Imran Khan said once that Pashtuns are traitors. They work for Taliban. Now, what about the Pashtuns who live in Pakistan, who run their transport, who run their hotels, and there's an allegation from their former interior minister saying that you work for Taliban, you don't have affinities to Pakistan. They have deported so many Pashtuns on the behest of, some kind of operation which they've been doing. They have been trying to go hand in glove with Taliban, but go against the Pashtun. It's like that syndrome. I love the Indian money, but I hate the Indians. So that is the Pakistani mentality which they've been doing. Now, in this scenario, when the Pashtuns are being slaughtered and massacred, this talks of one thing. All the things which they talk about Ummah and Muslim and Islamic movement is crap because who are Pashtuns? They are Muslims. You are the people who are killing maximum Muslims in the world. You are the people who are slaughtering Muslims. And not only that, if you look at the Pakistans now, how many people has Pakistani army slaughtered? Have Indian bullets killed so many people? Not even 1/10 of that. The maximum people who have been killed in Pakistan are by Pakistani army, are by this Punjabi Sunni army who kill Balochis, who kill Pashtuns, who kill Hazaras, who kill Shias, who kill Ahmadiyas, and who even kill the people in Sindh who don't toe their line. Even the Saraiki belt, you don't toe their line, they will eliminate you. Now look at this. This is what the reality of Pakistan is, what Bharat should do. Bharat should support them, I think, more directly. Even if you have to open an embassy for them, if they make a government in exile, let them make a government in exile. If they would want to have an embassy in Delhi, let them have an embassy. Let Balochis have an embassy. Let KPK have an embassy. We should do that. Because Pakistan is now jointly doing military ops with China, Turkey and other countries to break you. They are sending terrorists. They are sending SSG commandos disguised as terrorists eliminating our people. So when it has gone beyond diplomatic niceties. We have to reciprocate in the same terms. Yes, we have to break Pakistan. Yes, we have to do everything to break Pakistan. I'm not the person who is taking that decision, but if I was, I would have gone out of the way and done whatever it takes to break Pakistan. Because if you don't break them, they will come again. Stronger Pakistan is a Frankenstein for India. Stronger Pakistan is the doomsday ambassador. So if you have a weaker, broken up Pakistan, hopefully when they breaks up into 4 or 5 states or countries, these countries will be peaceful. They will not be run by this mullah military nexus. Look, it all started with Ayub Khan. Ayub Khan became field marshal in 60 Cup. It was 59. I think up to 69 he hold to the power, and he made a base where the mullah military nexus cannot be challenged. And now you have the latest mad mullah who has again become the field marshal. And we need, what do we expect from there? They will slaughter anybody, even if it's a Muslim, Shia, or anybody who comes in their way. It doesn't, Hindu might be the preference number one, but Muslim is not the last preference. Anybody who comes in their way will be slaughtered. This mad nexus has to be broken for the peace of the Asia and for the peace of the world. It is imperative on India to go ahead and break them, because if you keep them intact, Pakistan will be intact. If Pakistan is intact, this mullah is highly unpredictable. He's a radicalized jihadi. He's a Hafiz Sayyid wearing a uniform with a much bigger impact radius than Hafiz Sayyid. Hafiz Sayyid doesn't have such an impact radius like Asim Munir. He's a mullah with a uniform. He's a jihadi with a uniform with much bigger impact radius. If you are not able to break this nexus one day is going to raise havoc on us. It is high time we stop being diplomatically nice and we do whatever it takes for the best interest of India and for the best interest of even people of Pakistan. They might be even Muslims who are slaughtered by Pakistani army. That is my limited take. Forget the Hindus of Pakistan. I don't even know how many are there, how many are living, how many are dead. Last count is 50 lakhs. God only knows what is the number. Forget Sikhs and Christians, they don't even count. It is our duty for our national security to break Pakistan. I rest my case.
All right, fair enough. It's our duty to break Pakistan. Mr. Amjad Ayub Mirza, POK activist, also with us on the program. Mr. Mirza, do you think it's about time that Pakistan breaks and Pakistan suffers for making its own people suffer for decades now? Had it not been for their jihadi attitude and their ways of inflicting torture through the ISI and the military, the Pashtun people and the Baloch people would have been happy in Pakistan, like minorities are in India.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. And secondly, I second everything that Sumit has said. He has said it better than I could have said. And as long as Pakistan exists, we should not be in any doubt or any, कहते हैं ना खुशफहमी, उसको क्या कहते हैं इंग्लिश में खुशफहमी को? We should not be in खुशफहमी कि this state can be reformed one way or the other. If the parliament is strengthened, Pakistan will be a better country. If the military stops interfering in the affairs of economy and foreign affairs, Pakistan could be reformed. No, there is no room for reform in Pakistan because it is a totalitarian state which has very cleverly put up a democratic face and form of parliament and judiciary and elected so-called prime minister and all that. It is a fascist state. And for fascist state, two things are necessary. One is to crush every and any kind of dissent against that regime or the state. And second is to find scapegoats so that they can blame their failures on those communities that they have made scapegoat. In Pakistan, officially the parliament has declared Ahmadis as infidels, kafirs. So anything that happens, they say this is the Qadiani's conspiracy. In POJK, maybe I've met, but I have not known that such a such person is a Qadiani. But we have never seen any, I have never known any Qadiani in POJK. Yet, the fascist Tehreek-e-Tahaffuz Khatm Nabuwat, the movement for the protection of finality of Prophet, is always conducting seminars and conferences in POJK cities, calling for the check and balance, that there is no Qadiani as a government official and the Qadianis should have another separate section in government job forms and stuff like that. This is Pakistan is not created for the benefit of the people of North India. It has been created for the benefit of the British and the Western world's vested interest in this region. One of their vested interests is not to let India prosper to an extent where it becomes, like a dominating economic power, because that economic power will bring political power on the table on the international arena. So it is very important for the Western world to keep India, whether through Bangladesh or through Pakistan or through China, keep it involved. That's why I say that if we have to run the marathon and win the marathon of economic progress, then we have to take out this pebble, this irritant stone from the shoe of India. ये जो पाँव में हिंदुस्तान के पाँव में ये जो कंकर है ना पाकिस्तान, इसको निकाले बगैर आगे नहीं जा सकते. They will keep on repeating Pahalgam. I am surprised that we say that this time we have given them a staunch warning. If they do something next time, then there will be all out war and all that. भाई कितने पहलगाम हमने और देखने हैं? What are we waiting for? Each time there is a terrorist attack in Jammu Kashmir, we say next time if they do it, तो ये तो वही बात होगी, इबकी मार, इबकी मार, इबकी मार, और मारे जा रहे हैं और मार खा रहे जा रहे हैं. This is the first time we thought that this will be the end of Pakistan. And as Sumit ji has very rightly said, भाई embassies खोलें दिल्ली में, आपको किसका डर है? वो वैसे भी तो कहते हैं कि ये इंडिया कर रहा है जी, बलूचिस्तान में इंडिया इज इन्वॉल्व इन बलूचिस्तान, इंडिया इज फंडिंग BLA. ओके, बदनाम तो वैसे ही हम हो गए हैं, तो ठीक है, फिर आओ फिर सामने आमने. सो आई थिंक दैट दिस इज टाइम फॉर Indian government to really do some soul search and think deeply about how to resolve this Pakistan. We should pause everything before we move further on, whether it's politics, development, economy, whatever. We should pause, I think, for a minute and pause and sort this menace out and then carry on with our journey. Thank you.
Right. Professor Nalapat, do you concur with this disruptive outreach that India can create by opening up embassies for these states that are in serious need of attention globally?
Look, honestly, Vinny, I see no problem in giving moral, political, and diplomatic support. Giving them representation, for example, would be similar to the representation we have given people who are also, frankly, suffering a lot, and that is the Tibetan people. So I see no problem in that whatsoever, and I feel definitely it can be done. And I've said for a very long time that stable Pakistan, when controlled by the military, and the way it now is, the civilians are equally bad as the military, and that's why they gleefully carry out the orders of the military, would be a disaster for the world, as Mr. Mirza has correctly said. So I do believe, Vineet, very honestly, that a strong Pakistan is not going to happen on the horizon. That being the case, frankly, I think the Baloch, the Sindhis, the Pashtuns, and others, they need freedom, they need self-respect, they need basic human rights, and whatever is needed to bring that about, I believe that India should be willing and ready to help them in their struggle for these basic human freedoms that are basic human rights. Vineet.
Sumit Peer, do you think it's a good idea to disrupt this global order and give these people a chance at statehood, to give these people the recognition and more so, Sumit, the respect and the value to their life which Pakistan has torn to shreds, and India can definitely change that narrative?
I think it's a golden opportunity for India presented by Pakistan. Look, Pakistan gives an impression, I am for Islam, I am for Muslims, I am the protector of Muslims. And that is what is standing in OIC and the Islamic world. If these things get exposed, how brutally they are slaughtering Pashtuns, Balochis, they're all Muslims, right? Shias, Hazaras. In the name of this Punjabi dominated supremacy, they are treating everybody else as crap. They might even brand anybody to everybody as infidel and then even justify why did we slaughter them. Now, if India is able to do that, it will be a very important step. And this facade of Pakistan's protector of Islam and that an Islamic country and what Imran Khan used to call it, Riyasat-e-Madina, for his political reasons, that all will be broken, because then India will be established as the real guardian of humanity, a real guardian who is there to help the people. It doesn't matter what your religion is. We have the second highest Muslim population in the world. We are not a small country. So this all myth that India is anti-Muslim, India is not pro-Muslim, this government is anti-Muslim, this is the time to break this myth. And I want to bring in one name here. There was one liberal and a brilliant voice in this Pashtun movement, Manzoor Pashtun. They have arrested Manzoor Pashtun in December 2024. It's almost more than a 1 year. Nobody knows, is he alive? Is he dead? What happened to him? He is the most powerful and most liberal leader of this Pashtun Tahaffuz movement. Again, such leaders are being arrested. They are being slaughtered. What did they try to do to the Baloch? This Mehrang Baloch, when she was in Islamabad, they told her, go home. Otherwise, we will send our army and police to rape you and you are a woman. I mean, if a country tells its own citizens, I send my law enforcement, that is my army, to rape you. Can you imagine? And everybody here is a Muslim. And you can imagine, if we need to expose all this to the world, we need to tell what is really happening inside Pakistan and how these people are getting dangerous for everybody. If we don't expose them and we don't do whatever it is done to be in the interest of the nation, I agree with Mirzaji that there might be one more Pahalgam. They will not stop. This mullah becoming field marshal means you cannot court-martial him. He will not retire. He is not questionable to anybody. He can restructure ISI today. He can make ISI his pet dog today. That is the power what Field Marshal gives. A lot of people don't understand what does Field Marshal Asim Munir mean. They thought it's a ceremonial designation. No, it is immense power. Now, from a field marshal to marshal, there is not a to marshal or there is not a lot of difference. Ayub Khan was a field marshal, then he became the dictator. Today, Mullah Munir is one step near to becoming the next dictator of Pakistan, and if this dictator remains, he'll be dictator having the army and remaining the army chief. Imagine if there's no army chief and the field marshal never retires. So this person will not retire. No retirement, no koi wo extension nahi chahiye isko. There'll be no successor. His friend is head of ISI, and the same friend Asim, Lieutenant General Asim, is also the NSA. If you look at what he has done strategically, he has eliminated all contenders to the power. And with this unmatched power, direct support from Turkey, from China and some other countries, you can imagine what kind of a Frankenstein is building. So before this Frankenstein holds ground, let's use everything at our command to dismantle his aura and to dismantle his stature and dismantle his evil empire, I would say like that. I'm saying again, he's a Hafiz Sayyid in uniform, but with a much bigger and a powerful impact radius. You have to note this point.
All right, fair enough. Appreciate everybody who joined us. Professor Nalapat, thank you so much. We definitely will continue this conversation forward at an opportune time.